So Trump has gifted us 50-year mortgages. This was his...
Us, Americans, you mean?
Well, yes, I mean...
That sounds great, doesn't it?
I'm talking about the Anglo world as a whole, but yes, the Americans. Lots of Americans watch this. So we've got that.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good. Yes, lovely people. They speak English. You don't realise how foreign, but they are foreign.
50-year mortgage, isn't that good?
Well, opinions vary. Opinions vary on this one.
Obviously, it's terrible.
So, well, yes. So, Trump supporters have come out predictably and sort of said this is good. The Libs have come out and said that it's awful. The problem is, though, is the Libs say that everything he does is awful. On this occasion, they're accidentally right.
Oh.
I mean, it's sheer stop clock, but this is not a great thing. And Trump has truthed, I believe, this image out where he's compared himself to one of the worst presidents of all time, Roosevelt, and tried to make himself look good by basically extending the debt trap even further. So, yes, not impressed with that. It does lower your monthly payments a little bit, but it does basically turn your home into a 50-year subscription model where you spend most of your life renting from the bank.
I've heard there's this phrase that might apply to this. I don't know if you've heard of it. You will own nothing and be happy?
Yes.
Is that right?
I don't know when they're going to... I mean, they're busy at the first part of that. I'm not sure when the second part comes along. I don't know when I'm going to be happy about something.
It does. I mean, it does just mean that you'll end up paying more. Ultimately, a lot more, in fact, in interest to the
fair
bank.
Bit, actually. Fair bit.
So the bank, the winner out of all of this is
Banks.
your mortgage lender, the bank.
Yes.
They're the ones that win.
They do rather well.
AKA BlackRock.
I will come to the affordability bit on this. I mean, I'll quickly run through a little bit of the history on this. So, mortgages used to be quite sensible before the 1930s in the US, and they were, very short duration, might be 3 or 5 years. And they were interest only. At the end of the 3 or 5 years, you had to pay the whole lump sum. So it was basically, you were going, it was set in a world where you had to buy a house outright, where they said, okay, well, that's kind of still what you need to do, but we're going to give you a 5-year grace period or whatever to get the funds together so you can get your life going a little bit earlier.
Back when houses were actually affordable in real terms.
Well, yes, and also they tended to build them in proportion with the population, which was quite good. And
they built them to last as well.
Yes.
I know people in the generation just above me, so not even the 1930s, in the 1970s, and they would say, we saved really hard for 2 or 3 or 5 years and then bought our house outright because it cost $3,000 or something.
Whilst being a milkman with a stay-at-home wife, I saved really hard for 18 months and bought a house, yes. Yeah. Yes, you hear that kind of thing.
Congrats.
So entirely different world. Because it's orders of magnitude more expensive now, right?
Oh, very much so.
It's not just that inflation has gone up, so the price of your average house has gone up. It's not that.
Yes.
It's multiplied many, many, many times.
Well, there's the debasement effect of money itself, and there's also the fact they don't tend to build houses.
So in Britain anyway,
supply and demand.
Yeah, something like that.
In Britain anyway, some kind of shitty 3 up, 2 down, semi-detached in nowhere important, $400,000.
Yes.
Right, that's what. That's normal. Right?
Americans watching this won't believe what we pay for our houses.
Well, I'm going to show you some American houses in a bit, and you won't believe what even a low house over there costs. So even though they might have it bad, it's not anywhere near as bad as. But I haven't finished kicking on FDR yet before we get onto affordability. I was going to make the comparison with a much better president, in my view, Warren G. Harding. Now I know historians typically tend to present, I mean, you might have a different view, but most historians tend to think that Harding was awful and FDR was the bee's knees. But I mean, Harding...
Lefty historians.
Well, yes, exactly. But there wasn't just the, the Great Depression. There was the 1921 crash as well. And Harding, who was excellent, his response was to do absolutely nothing. And that's why nobody's ever heard of the 1921 crash, because he was just like, okay, didn't do anything. The market cleared, and then they kind of went up again. The 20s were actually a pretty good period.
The roaring 20s, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But when you get the depression in the 30s, the reason it's a depression as opposed to a slump that nobody's ever heard of is because FDR started this process of government can fix everything. And so mortgages went from being this, okay, well, you're almost there with your house and houses are cheap, so we're just going to get you over the hump. We're just going to, you can start your life 5 years earlier with this short duration mortgage. They started bringing in much longer term mortgages and creating a whole bunch of federal agencies behind this, the Federal Housing Authority and bloody loads of them with acronyms all over the place.
Well, it's the New Deal. Just quickly to say, FDR gets in after, like in the 30s. He wasn't president during the Wall Street crash, but still, not long after he gets in. And the New Deal is a socialistic thing.
Yes, it's absolutely can fix everything. And why Trump wants to compare himself to FDR, God only knows. I mean, why he thought in whatever reason. The problem with Trump, though, is he is ultimately a line go up boomer, and I do think obviously we support him here, and I do like him, but he is a line go up boomer. And this
every some things I don't support at all. His commentary about flooding the country with Chinese students was
that's the same mentality of a line go up boomer.
Purely mental. It's like we must. The unis must continue. No, they don't. Let them die.
I mean, he supports this because of line go up, and he supports the H1B1 whatever.
Great.
For the same reason, line's going to go up.
Excellent.
So because a lot of people on the right hate Roosevelt, Americans hate Roosevelt and see him as like a sort of a Clement Attlee type figure. Everything went wrong from him onwards.
Yes, that's my.
But people on the mainstream, you might say, boomer truth view of history is that FDR saved America.
He condemned.
Not even including World War II, before World War II, with the New Deal and everything. He sort of saved America. It was exactly what America needed, was all this state intervention.
Yeah.
And so if you believe that angle, that view of history, as lots and lots and lots of people do, when I was doing sort of A-level history, for example, it was taught that FDR was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Well, if you subscribe to that, then Trump comparing himself to him would make sense. You'd be like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but Trump shouldn't be thinking
like that. No, it's wrong.
He shouldn't be thinking like this. Because one of the things that the whole process with SDR started is massive US government intervention in the mortgage market. So for any Americans watching, I don't know if you know this, but you have a really weird mortgage system. Because the way they do it over there is you buy a house and you get typically a 30-year fixed rate mortgage for the entire lifetime of the mortgage. Whereas nobody else in the world really does that.
So that sounds quite good. If the rate is low enough, that's not bad. That's better than what we get.
If the rate is low.
Right, okay. Yeah. If.
And what if you... But the other thing is, okay, let's say you even get in on a low rate and then a job opens up which is 200 miles away and rates are now higher. Are you going to leave your really low rate on your nice house to go and live in a shitty house for a better job? So it kind of ossifies the entire system. Right. And as a result, the Americans have this really weird sort of lumpy housing market that sort of booms and busts all over the place from year to year. So a whole bunch of government interventions got involved and you ended up with this system. Now, it's kind of going to make an awful lot more sense if I kind of illustrate it through an example. So I want to talk about Mr. Average American and then put some numbers on it. And I thought, well, because this is a visual medium, I've got to start with Mr. Average. So I got AI to take every known photo of 30-year-old Americans and generate a composite.
Are we about to lose loads of American? Oh,
and so this is our composite of what the average 30-year-old American looks like. That just gives you a basing point to hang this on. And I've had to give him a name, so I've called him Mayo Borba. 1 in 1,000 will get that reference.
Yeah, I don't get that reference, sorry.
You don't speak Portuguese. Anyway, so he earns $84,000 a year. That is apparently the average American wage.
That's not a bad wage.
Yeah, I've got to say, just
that's
on
brilliant.
That's not bad.
That's a brilliant wage.
So, if any Americans watching this thinking I'm shitting on America, trust me, every word of this is shitting on us Europeans. I mean, just that, the $84,000 a year, right?
Yeah, you have no idea how poor we are.
Yeah. In fact, one funny thing is we did a segment on the wage differentials between the US and Europe. And afterwards, a Buc-ee's store manager in America sent us a huge crate of like goodies from the store.
What a legend.
And a note attached that said, "Because I'm so rich and you're so poor, you need this." Which,
they were good. Buc-ee's cheesy poofs, they were delicious.
Yeah, they were lovely.
So basically, send some more.
If you're watching Mr. Manager, thank you very much for that. Anyway, so Mr. Average American, he earns $84,000 a year, so that means he's got $7,000 monthly he grosses. And a sensible housing ratio, once you've got your other living expenses, is about 30%. So he's got $2,100 to spend on his mortgage. Now you've got property taxes and insurance. So basically, the mortgage payment that he can make is $1,800. And we will just work through a quick example as to what this looks like. Now,
what
if you're I'll run through it in a second.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking at that going. That's sorry, I'll shut up.
So. Typical rates at the moment about 6%. Now, the house that you should buy when you're doing a mortgage is whatever you can afford to pay back over 15 years. That's really what you should be aiming at. Of course, nobody actually ever does that. What they do is they look at the absolute maximum that they can borrow, and then they buy the maximum amount of house that they can borrow. Which kind of, is people volunteering for the debt trap effectively. But I'm gonna show you this example so you can see how I think on this. So a 15-year mortgage, because bear in mind he's got his $1,800 that he can spend on it. So if he was going to take a 15-year mortgage, that would mean that he can borrow $210, assuming a 20% deposit. That gets him to a house price of $260. That's really what he should be buying. But of course, when he doesn't do that, he borrows over 30 years now that this has become kind of standard. That means he can borrow $300. So along with your deposit, you're looking at $375, and that's what they all do. So you can see that the jump from 15-year mortgages up to 30-year mortgages, it kind of did have an appreciable difference. Because you can see you can the house that you can buy goes from $260 to $375.
Yeah, big difference.
Probably a bigger, better house.
Yes,
and that's what people want more than being poorer in real terms.
Well, at least initially. There's also the factor that I'm going to come to that what it does is it bids up house prices.
Well, yeah,
so there is that. But nevertheless, 15 to 30, you see the huge difference that it has. Right, now look at the difference that a 50-year mortgage makes.
Oh.
It's $10,000 difference.
What? Why?
It's all down to the kind of the slope of the curve on how long-term money works. I'll explain it like this.
What would be the point in that then?
Well, it does make your monthly payments slightly lower. I mean, this is worked out to show you on 1,800 the difference that it can make on the prices. But the difference is actually quite tiny. So the example I'd use is, for example, when you buy when you retire and you buy an annuity, it's going to pay you out money for the rest of your life. I mean, actually, technically, that's a perpetuity because it will pay out forever as long as you're alive. But then people don't live forever, so annuity is fine. The difference in the maths between an annuity and a perpetuity is 50 years. At that point, it basically crosses because the curve falls off at such a rate that the longer out your money is, the less difference it makes to the upfront cost. And so that's why when you go to a 30-year, I mean, you've already captured all of the benefit from going to a 15 to a 30. Going from a 30 to a 50 barely makes any bloody difference to your payment.
Right.
It does make differences that we come to in a minute.
How much the bank rakes in.
Well, that is a different number.
Right.
That is a hell of a different number.
Right.
Now, if you just think, a final point on this $10,000 difference, what do you think is going to happen to that? You're going to get a different class of home, or you're just going to bid up a house that was worth $375, you're just going to bid it up to $385.
Yeah, you're
going to do exactly that.
Yeah, which would.
Right, now the median home, so we talked about Mr. Average America, but actually the average house in America, I mean, as much as averages apply in America since it's so diverse, but it's $410,000.
Okay.
So even for Mr. Average, the average home is still out of reach with this.
I was going to say probably people in metropolitan LA or New York are like, 410, I wish. I've seen tiny little apartments in New York for like $1 million or $2 million or whatever, a stupid number. But we're not talking about them.
Yeah, no, we're
talking about someone living in Tennessee or Colorado. Or
if you're trying to buy New York, then I mean, good luck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even the closer bits of Jersey, I'd imagine you're going to struggle. So this 50-year loan doesn't really make it any more affordable. It just it increases the debt horizon. I knocked up this graph before we came in here that kind of illustrates the point. So this is years across the bottom here, 0 to 50. This is amount of monthly payments going out. So again, we're sticking to Mr. Average, Mia Borba, and he can make these payments of $1,800 a year. And then we've got these 3 housing scenarios that we talked about. Now, with a 15-year mortgage, as you can see, it gets paid off quickly. And this line here is the amount of actual principal that you're paying back. So not interest, principal. So at year 0, that's his total payment. Down here, here's how much principal he's paying. But he starts off paying back somewhere near to half principal straight away. Okay. And these kind of key points that I marked along the chart here, that's when he's paid off 25% of the loan, 50%, 75%, and then obviously 100% when he reaches the line. So you can see he's only in there for like 7 years and he's paid off 25% of the loan. Like whatever that is, 9 years, he's paid off half the loan. And then he sort of pays off the rest of it. So a nice kind of tidy repayment schedule. And then look at how it changes to the 30-year. So he's in there for, well, whatever that is, maybe 13, 14 years before he's paid off a quarter. He's been in there for 20 years before he's paid off half. Now, if you think this is bad enough, at least this isn't too bad. At least if you buy a house when you're, I don't know, 35, and you've got a 30-year mortgage, and you pay it off by the time you're 65, okay, fair enough. But, I mean, how many 15-year-olds are buying a house for a 50-year mortgage so they can pay it off by 65?
I mean, that blue line is sort of the norm of what we grew up in. I mean, that's sort of similar to what I've got.
Yeah.
Right? That's similar to what a lot of people have got.
I mean,
people that started 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So it's still a shit deal, really.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, because you can live with it. Right?
You can live with it.
Yeah.
And the term is fairly standard worldwide. I mean, somewhere between 20 and 30, that's just standard the world over, really. I mean, Japan, they briefly experimented with 100-year mortgages that you passed on to your kids in your will. But, oh, thanks, Dad.
It's horrible.
Oh,
that's horrible.
I've inherited massive debt. Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. Anyway, they got rid of that. That was a silly idea. And the other way to think about this is the area above the curve is your interest payment. So, if a 15-year mortgage, let's call this A, that's your interest payment. This is B, so A plus B, if you're on a 30-year, that's your interest payment. And look at the size of the interest area that you're paying with a 50-year mortgage. And the other thing, just to come back to this point, you're in there almost 30 years before you paid off a quarter of your house.
It's not a good deal. It's a false economy, isn't it?
And let's say you're a 35-year-old and you take one of these out, you're almost 75 by the time you paid off half your bill.
It's funny. I thought Mr. Trump was a master of the art of the deal, not for other people, not for the average American trying to start a mortgage, because that's a terrible deal.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah,
it's a terrible deal.
Larry Fink is loving it though.
Oh yeah,
but when it comes back to this point, area above the line, that goes to the bank. Here, bank only gets the area under the line. That's not much. That is meaty. You can see why mortgage companies like that. But that to the banks, pretty solid.
They're raking in quite a lot of interest. There's another word for it.
It's a lifetime product.
Another word for interest you could use, isn't there? Like usury.
Yes. But the indentured servants have to pay. When I say indentured servants, I mean, might as well be slaves at this point.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, anyway, let's have a look at that typical average house. 410,000. And just look at what you actually pay back. So, if your mortgage for the average US house is 15 years, in total you pay back 600. So, you're paying back a 50% premium in order to, defer your payment. Total interest of 200,000. Now,
see, that's still in a fair world.
Yeah,
that's still a complete piss take, isn't it?
That's
really.
Good. I mean, imagine if you came up with the idea of banks. I mean, the first bank that figured this out was like, oh bloody hell, that's a good deal. So we get to make 200,000, 50% over 15 years.
That's a good deal for us, the bank.
Safe as houses. Right. He's collateralised. Nice. Right, and now that's not enough. Then
and if he buggers up and doesn't pay it back, we repossess it.
Yep. Fully collateralised. And then that wasn't enough. So then, total paid on a 30-year mortgage, you pay back basically double. So you're paying the full price of the house just as interest on a 30-year. And right now it gets stupid. If you do this over 50 years, the full price that you're paying back on your £410,000 mortgage is 3 times 1.2 million, of which double the price of the house, 800,000, is how much you're paying to the bank. So yes, not great. Oh, then I've just got the graph, but
it would be nice to just have
mental.
I mean, most people don't. Hardly anyone can do this. Really, you have to be independently wealthy to just pay for a house up front and don't pay anything in interest.
Well, I mean, there are solutions that the country as a whole could adopt.
Who's got 400 grand liquid cash? I mean, if you had it, you would do it, right? Although most people, I think, still don't. People that have got hundreds of thousands of pounds of liquid capital will still probably get a mortgage. They probably wouldn't go for a 50-year option, but you'll still be like, well, I want a lot of that money to just spend on me in the intervening years, on holidays and cars and things. Yeah, so I'll get a mortgage. When in fact, the most prudent thing to do would just be to buy the house.
Yeah,
but who really does that? I mean, a lot of mortgage providers don't even let you do that. Right? I think a lot of mortgage providers, if you said, look, I've got 400 grand, let me buy that house, just boom, straight up, they'll be like, no, we don't offer that option. You can't.
Well, you can. I mean, I don't know. I'd imagine you can do that in the US system. I know in this system.
Oh, maybe in the US, sorry. Yeah, sorry. We'll talk about the US, sorry.
But, I'm in that situation. I've got liquid capital, but I still have a mortgage. And the reason I do that is because I can borrow money at 3% and invest it at much higher than 3%. So it's worth doing it. But then I do have a system in place that I can pay back that mortgage if I need to at any time. I just prefer not to. But that's not really the situation most people are in. Most people are just going to max out whatever the amount of borrowing they can, load themselves up to the hilt. They're going to then bid up the prices. Because there is an interesting mechanism where what you should potentially do, right, is you should go and buy the house that you can afford to pay back over 15 years and then take the 50-year mortgage. And that will save you money every month. And then that money you take and you go and invest. And as long as you can do better than 6%... Well,
I was just saying, that only works if you're savvy enough to invest properly. I mean, because all the problem with all this is when you borrow as much as you possibly can on what you earn, what if you lose your job? Or something happens, you get ill, or you've put all your savings into investments and they tank?
Yes.
Anything can go wrong in your life over 15 years, let alone 50 years.
Yes.
Or you're guaranteed your income is never going to go down. You can't guarantee that.
Well, that's why I kind of feel compelled to mention that example. You should buy the house that you can afford over 15, take the 50 and invest the difference. Because, I mean, people scream at me in the comments if I don't mention it. Like, but you're right, it is a tiny percentage of people who are, one, going to be savvy enough to do that, and then two, have the discipline to do it. And three, stick with it. I mean, the vast majority of people are just going to bid up the house prices, max out their expenditure, save nothing every month, and if they lose their jobs, they're just screwed,
And I don't want to be too sycophantic to you, the great Dan Tubb.
No, I don't mind.
But
go ahead.
You're a successful venture capitalist.
Yes.
Most people invest money and lose it because they don't know what they're doing. They just have a punt, and it wasn't the right thing to do. Yeah. Most people aren't, to be fair, capable of taking any savings or lump sum they've got and investing it wisely enough to get more than 6%. Yeah. That's actually a bit of an ask.
Yes.
To outperform
every so often
interest rates. That's, if you can do that, good luck to you. Brilliant.
Every so often the wife comes into my office when I'm doing some finance stuff and she says, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I start explaining, and then she just looks at me and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I asked," and turns around and walks out again. I mean, that is where most people are. They're not. Yeah. They're not going to do this.
Well, you need half a lifetime of doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's like most things, like trying to paint an oil painting or write a novel. The first few times you do it, it will be crap and you'll fail. trying to ride a bike. The first few times you are going to fall off, 100%. If you stick at it and you're good enough. But that's rare. That's rare. Most people aren't successful investors.
If you start asking average Americans to do this, especially like 30-year-olds, they're just going to stick it on some weird crypto thing. And yeah, they might be able to buy a mansion at the end of it, or they lose it all in the first 6 months or something. And you know, the first is probably more likely. I also wanted to take a quick look at, I also looked up what is the most average town in America, the most average city.
Did you let AI do this, or Google, or?
Yeah, I think I asked ChatGPT. I asked it, what is the most average of average places in all of America? And apparently it's Illinois, and it's this whatever the hell it is, like. Oh
man,
Perno or Perno.
You can get some nice places, can't you? Look at that. You guys in the States have no idea how expensive stuff is.
They're average houses.
Space is such a premium here.
I can't remember what this city is called. Perno or something like that.
Yeah, that house there for the top left, $225,000. That would be like a £3 million house here.
It'd be a mansion here.
Yeah, that's a mansion.
So what do we?
Fully detached.
9,000 square feet.
Let me just go back to Mr. Average. Right, so Mr. Average on a 15-year mortgage, he should be buying a 260 house. So let's go and see what Mr. Average can get in the most average town. So we're looking for anything at 260.
I mean...
This was easier.
You're like a double garage one for $999. What?
Can anyone see a 260 or close enough?
Yeah, 234.
Most of them are under that, right?
Okay, let's just go with this one then.
Yeah. Look at that. It's a double garage.
That's a nice little house.
That's lovely.
Mr.
Raise a family in that.
Yeah.
Lovely jubbly.
But then this is average town and not like New York or, wherever it is that you live, that the Democrats have been elected for the last 30 years and have basically stopped all building from happening through rent controls and housing regulation.
So the biggest downside to all of this is you have to live in Illinois. That's not that bad.
I've never been to Illinois, but I'm sure it's all right.
Yeah, right. I've never been either, but
yeah,
it looks nice.
Flood it with MAGA people, it'll be all right.
Let's see if we can find a 400,000. What they're all aiming for the average. Why do you even look? 64 grand.
That's a little bungalow, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean
it's nothing, is it?
As a starter home.
Yeah, that's fine. It's got a garage, nice amount of space.
Yeah.
It's got a front garden. Front gardens in the UK, most people don't have a front garden.
I was going to say, frankly, that's better than the flat I live in, which hasn't even got a balcony.
Yes.
Let alone a front or backyard.
Mad.
Yes, exactly right. So, and the other weird thing about the American market is you can't take your loan with you. It's tied to the house. Whereas in the rest of the world...
So you can't move? Well, or if you do... Sorry, go on.
So, this is the thing. Let's say you went in at a really low rate and you've got that 30-year deal and a job opportunity opens up a couple of 100 miles away. If you sell the house, you're going to lose a deal and refinance at whatever it is now. Let's say it's 8% at the time. Who wants to go from 3% to 8%?
You not do buy to let? Do they do that?
There might be ways around it like that, possibly. I'm not sure on the intricacies.
Still, in Averageville, Illinois, 400 grand, I imagine, does buy you truly a mansion. Then
I'd imagine so.
You could get a massive property for 400 grand.
Yes.
In suburban Illinois.
I tried to find one, and apparently this is the most average town in America, but I tried to find one at 400,000.
265 there.
Successful. I think I'm rather than scroll through and try and find something that's 400 grand's worth, I think I'll give up. I'll just give up. Quick comment to round this out. What actually fixes this? Because to be fair, not every town in America is like average town.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, what actually fixes it is building more homes. It's that simple. And typically the places with the biggest problem are the places that have Democrat mayors that put rent controls and housing regulations. He comes along and says, I want housing to be better, so I'm going to put all these regulations on, which makes it more expensive to build. Zoning restrictions, that's the other thing. Get rid of these zoning restrictions. If you don't have zoning restrictions, what you get is a blend of residential and commercial all mixed in. And you get these organic communities form. But the Americans, they love their zoning restrictions. So that, again, is another massive impedance to it. And just the whole regulatory friction. It's too much of it. And allow mortgages to be transferable, to take them with you to a new property, like you can everywhere else in the world. But there's that. But no, I think Trump has made an error.
Yeah, massive one.
Yeah.
Well
just
done.
Effectively just taking money out of the pocket of your average Joe and giving it to mortgage providers, banks. Effectively. I mean, what else? How else can you describe it?
Well, I'll go back to the chart. I mean, just look at, this area here. That is money to the bank.
Right.
I mean, it's just bizarre.
Great.
And why he wants to compare himself to FDR, who's probably one of the worst presidents ever.
Maybe he's just being honest.
Yeah. That was a mistake,
If that's
I think.
actually what he believes, he's just being honest then, isn't he?
But, hopefully the next MAGA president is not a line go up boomer. Because, this is wrong.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.